armlet, right? Once he gets that, I think you can start putting pressure if you want to. If you don't go for the armlet Dezo, I think you can fight on the armlet, and then you just build Sanj as you go.
Okay, this is where FNATIC can finally look to now up the pressure versus Morphlane. As we saw before, I mean, an Invis, Willow, she pops up, she hits you with Curse Ground. Oh no, I'm going to be stunned in 4 seconds. No threat. However, Blink Dagger for Jabs, which is on its way, is a big threat. There's Mago as well with his own Blink Dagger. It's a very fast timing. Again, a lot of those stats are from offlane Mars, but this is still pretty darn good for a Mars. DK, though, has a Blink of his own. Thunder, they're not ready for it.
Okay, they did stun the Morphling. He didn't get Tetris Shift off. The damage from Lich is really high, and he does die to the poison from Jabs. However, in this arena, they stuck Jabs against the wall and decimated him as they also bring down DJ. That last stun will not save his life. However, a tower does fall in favor of FNATIC, and they did kill the carry, so not the greatest trade, but wasn't too bad for them.
It's acceptable. They lose the tower, they lose the carry, but it's acceptable. And this is something that's really interesting,
well, they
right?
take the tower, lose. Oh, no, you're right. Sorry.
No, they lose the tower. Yeah. For Thunder, it's acceptable, right? This is something that's really interesting because if you looked at the Blink Dagger timings, especially for DK Mars, DK usually gets his a bit earlier and much more consistently. The standard deviation's super low because he's not really played mid anymore. But for Mars, it does differ a lot. Usually offlane Mars, they buy, double Bracer because they're not naturally tanky. But this is a mid lane Mars. He's a lot faster, and I think FNATIC are on the receiving end of that one.
The DP is going to be found down bottom. There's the Vessel coming to deploy as well, Richie. That's going to hit with the Illuminate. Sacred has the Hooded Defiance.
There's Mago.
Help him a lot. That Mago comes and joins in. He did spear Jabs, though. He was probably looking for Armel instead. Sacred somehow keeping himself still alive. But that last Spirit Siphon will be cancelled promptly with a pa-pang of the shield.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know, you did all the sound effects in Dota with your
It was me and Dota Capitalist.
Yes, indeed, indeed.
Sorry, Dota Cap, my bad. That Mago, he was looking to spear the Coddle. If he got Coddled, actually could have been a kill, honestly. Yeah. But intelligently enough, Jazz put himself in the way of the spear. He is going to save his princess to the Coddle.
And now Jabs is making great progress as well towards his Fireball. He's going to get his next items, BKB, Ag Scepter, whatever he really feels like, extremely fast. Yep. So this DK, this is where he does have the advantage over something like an offlane Mars, because DK with that Fireball, he farms like a madman. Mars generally doesn't.
I mean, Mars farms good, like on the baseline, but it requires so much mana, right?
Yeah.
And also, when you're at mid-Mars, I don't think you have the liberty to just go and push out waves. You kind of want to be active with your team. And the problem, of course, happens with Sacred, where the TP farms okay-ish. Certainly not as fast as the Fireball. Certainly not as low commitment as Fireball, because you need to Crypt Storm the wave twice, and that means you have to stay there for quite a long time.
We haven't seen much of the carries. That's because they're both very keen to get their first couple of items online. Of course, for Pakaz, that's obviously the Manta. For Lifestealer, it's going to be the casual Sanj, which just synergizes beautifully with his entire kit. And that Scotty is a bit earlier than you might expect it, of course, to deal with the Morph and the DP. Very high value this game for him.
Yeah. Pakaz would have maybe considered the BKB, right? The Vessel as well as a secondary item, or just to deal with Coddle in general. That Scotty might deter that idea. I wonder if Morphling will also go for his own Scotty.
Smoke breaks. Mago, he's in.
But John Noel is so quick on the Sinister Gaze. He stopped Dark Mago's initiation. He has to settle for this Lich, punishing him for transgression. But in fact, Jabs stunned Dark Mago. He did get the spear off, but that's not going to be enough. Terrorize on top of this. Dark Mago's been punished. And Matthew falls with him. Sacred, he bit off him more than he could chew, went into the Lion's Den, and he got torn to shreds.
Yeah, he did, that Lion. He thought it was a Kitten's Den, but it was certainly a Lion's Den, diving past the Tier 1 tower while it's still up. Very aggressive move, right? And this is why we like to cast Dark Mago. He makes these plays. FNATIC, though, they're ready. They're in position. They were smoking themselves, actually, so maybe unlucky for Thunder, but FNATIC also have their own timings you have to consider. And it's just a great counter initiation. Shout out to the supports. DJ and John Noel, they save their spells here until they're just needed, right?
Yep.
You can see the Terrorize gets pump faked once or twice. Finally, it comes through just to guarantee these couple of kills. And
that's good.
That's the problem with these kind of initiations from Mago, right? They either work and they look like he's the smartest man in the game, or they turn out like that and you end up scratching your head a bit because what could you have done?
Yeah, and Matthew now gets found out as well, so another easy kill going the way of FNATIC. This is not what Thunder Awaken was hoping for. And Dark Mago, when he does these initiations, he tells his teammates, let's go, cowards. And his teammates sometimes follow him to his death. They've learned that Dark Mago will do it whether they say no or yes.
Very true. Again, it's all to create space. It's all in the name, that is, of creating space for Pakaz, who has
your Lord and Savior Pakaz.
At least gotten the Manta style online. So a fight is viable. It's viable that he shows up, especially if they get the first stun like this. onto Jabs. Broken here. They can get through him rather quickly. Spits down the fireball onto Dark Magos. They get the first kill here. Panda's likely to die there to that Vestal charge, but Pakaz is in here with the rage as well. Genuel can't touch him. He runs into the wall, and he will be finished off by Sacred. Raven on the run with just a Sange and Armlet. Not keen on going mano versus Pakaz, as Pakaz wants to go for more. Onto DJ he will go. Terrorize Channel, but juked by the Manta. Pakaz with 2 kills. And he's ready to fight on just the Manta, Avo.
That was so good, that Mago. And this is the beauty of this player. He initiates on you, and you go and say, is he throwing again, or is he actually making the play of his life? And that was the splatter in this case. Honestly, if you're FNATIC, you can't blame him for this. There's no way you read this. Genuinely. Like he does this, and you go, are his teammates near him? How do you know?
Yeah.
I don't think he even checks his teammates if he's there with
I can guarantee you, after watching those regional final games, remember,
he does not.
There were instances where Mago doesn't even know. he will just make the jump. How do you play against it? It's like the 50-50, right?
It really is.
It's insane. And he goes, oh, the team was there.
Yeah, and John Dwell was like, what do I do? What is this guy? That was really well played by Pakaz, though. Pakaz really understanding the read there, and that he could take a couple of free kills. Of course, the Manta style saving from the Vessel early. No Scotty yet on Lifestealer. And look at his quick by Richie.
Oh,
he is going for the Scotty himself.
Oh, yeah. I think it's pretty big, right? They did slightly adjust it. It's more move speed slow, right, than it is attack speed. Or sorry, it's more, what did they do?
Attack speed slow than movement slow.
Yes.
I think is that, right?
Yeah, they slightly adjusted it in 731C.
Yeah. But the healing is the important part.
Healing's the important part, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Both for Lifestealer and Morphling, just want to reduce the healing as much as possible. The attack speed slow, I think, on Morphling is not that big a deal, to be honest, or movement speed, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It was.
Yeah. I think the reason I bring it up for the movement speed is, you know, that's how you play against the Lifestealer.
You confirm just for the stream?
You try and kite him out. Yeah, yeah. It is the
buffed
the
attack
melee.
speed and lowered movement speed slow?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's hard. These small changes, you gotta read them with a.
It's 10%, but that's a lot here for these melee kind of heroes.
It is. And you won't be able to kite Lifestealer as easily, which is an important part here, of course.
Yep.
The attack speed, though, might be an issue with a mano that we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Naturally, Morphling does usually scale better.
Invis Rune, yeah, so he's going to be able to get the jump here. God doesn't have Blink Dagger.
As well.
Yeah. Again, it's just you need Jabs to be the one to jump in.
Yes. But Jabs is scared because of Nether Toxin.
Yeah, true. And Pakaz is going to be tanky. Okay, this could be it. Into the trees he goes, and...
Oh, that was weird. He went to the trees, lost vision of him, and Jabs couldn't really jump in with a Dragon Tail in time.
Yeah, got it. Yeah, the way that the fears work a bit differently, right? Because if you get feared from DP, I think you just run away from her. But if you get feared by Willow and Willow, you run towards your fountain.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
There's some weird interactions where it seems to break.
And sometimes with terrain, it's really funky as well. Or I mean, just a bit of a miscommunication there. Either way, it's just an Invis Rune at the end of the day for FNATIC, and an ulti that they can honestly likely go without here for the next minute. As we've entered a bit of a lull where both cores, again, they would like to get their Scotties up. It's the race, a drag race even, to the eye of Scotty. Armel, in the meantime, he's happy to continue farming the entire map. Richest hero in the game.
Yeah, Armel, what can he do with his farm, though? He's gone for a BKB to survive this onslaught from the Mars as well, so now he'll be able to leave the arena. For sure, that Mao has his number now. Matthew actually reveals the smoke, and did they see him?
Oh, well, now they will. Planting a ward. They're going to see Matthew. Matthew tosses the arrow. Jabs make that.
Okay, Thunder Awake and saw him on the ward at high ground. That's what I was asking, actually. Yeah, so well done by Matthew. That saves him completely. I mean, it wasn't really intentional, but good positioning, I guess.
Yeah. Thunder would love to fight when Mago finishes up his BKB. He's 800 gold from it now, but that gives him a much better fighting chance in these team fights, making sure that Coddle doesn't just kill you with a salvo of spells, basically.
And we have extra level 2 now as well, so we're hitting the stride for Sacred. They do take a free tower down bottom, though. It's tough because regardless of what we're talking about in the items, currently Lifestealer is just stronger than Morphling. That's the nature of it. He does much more in these fights because of the rage. Morphling needs a little bit more time. The second item is going to probably make the change.
And something we haven't mentioned is that, you know, Armel is free to farm Raven is free to farm as he just was down bottom, right?
Oh, mid. They found Sacred. Terrorize hit. They hit with the Illuminator as well. The Bedlam Sacred, thanks to the Hood of Defiance, is still alive.
Wow.
Sacred tanking this whole thing, but I think he will live. In fact, thanks to the Arena Blood, Chad is also in trouble. Oh, he lost his princess, or his Willow in this case, and now the Knight goes down as well.
Yeah, that was a really, really good counter initiation. That time it was FNATIC who go a little bit too far behind a tier 1 tower, and I punished with some great rotations. Arena a blood shirt just for the DK. But again, while your core is off farming safely, you're happy if you're Thunder.
Yep.
They are getting ever
Nat,
closer here
welcome.
to the Scotty. They're just about
Lagyan
dead
pa,
even,
Nat.
so
Go
we're
to
very
Tidur.
likely for a big train wreck of a fight, Avo,
Oh, I'm
in
excited.
terms of the Aya Scotty timings for both of these heroes.
The true essence of SCA versus SA.
love
Timing, strategy, who cares? Go 5-on-5, and whoever's better at clicking spells, that's whoever comes out alive.
Okay, double BKB for Thunder, right? They now have one for
Huge.
Sacred, one for Mago. This is going to be big for them. We can see the hectic call.
Oh, Sacred has it. Oh, wow, that is huge, actually.
That is big, yep. Coddle, of course, he's got one for himself, and this DK is a bit further behind the rest.
Nat, lagyan pa, Nat.
With this Scotty coming up momentarily here for Raven, I don't think FNATIC are going to wait for this. It's getting about that time where first Roche becomes the objective for both teams.
Every single game, and they have the advantage.
I do.
And Thunder Awaken.
And they've
Are
got the
they trying
BKB advantage right now.
Yeah.
And the Aya Scotty. Pakaz has
Yeah.
purchased it.
They-
For Dark Mago, always banned, but this time they look for the fight, and they're going to fight Roche, the big guy.
Okay, so they go for the safe option instead. Trying to look for a kill is a bit difficult. FNATIC setting up for this fight. There's the blinding light to annoy them, but they didn't hit Pakaz. Was well positioned
Okay,
here.
Scotty's ready. Raven's on the way.
Raven is on the way. However, this Roche is falling quickly. The Exo is taking it down. Terrorize might hit Sacred. Sacred's gonna hit the
Pakaz went out of the pit.
He still has the Exorcism. Pakaz out of the pit. You're totally right.
Mago.
Sacred's almost about to die. Mago creating some space. Pakaz to face the Roche. He just got back. She got the Aegis. And Mago, he's still keeping the enemy team at bay.
They're getting
This
jabs,
arena. Mago might die. No, it's actually surviving just barely. Raven in trouble. Scotty is ruining his life. They go for DJ next, and he is not going to be a good vehicle. He just crashed on the side of the road. One passenger trying to escape. Pakaz does not want to
Okay,
leave him to
they make
live.
it.
Raven,
Or bring
luckily with a rage, will allow himself to go back home safely.
Yeah, but Armel is just the entire time casting these big
Ah,
illuminates on
lucky.
the backlines. He ends up picking off two, I believe, towards the end of that fight. And he doesn't even use BKB, so he conserves that, just playing the Coddle like he's supposed to be. Long-range spellcaster, just kind of demolishing things. Pakaz makes the move to just get out of the pit as soon as he sees Terrorize. Don't believe it would have caught him here.
I think Raven's choice to immediately leave that team fight made that team fight so much better for FNATIC than it had
Yeah.
any right to be. You can see it here, right? Because of the arena, they actually keep him at bay for so long. He goes and fights for a little bit, and the moment Roche falls, Raven, the ever-consistent carry, gets the kill on Mars, or tries to, and then just leaves.
Yeah, again, it's Armel. He gets it. Not on this one, but he just keeps throwing these horses over, man. And Mago's got nowhere to go.
Horses. Can you imagine if you just see an old man on the side of the road and he just keeps throwing like ponies at you, dude?
Yeah.
What would you do? You slap him. That was the choice that Mago chose.
I mean, very little else you could do, I suppose, if he also solar binds you and he can't move. But, you know.
What would that be in the real life equivalent? He'd like, oh, the old man's bald and he flares you with his eyes, right?
There we go.
With his bald head. Yeah.
There we go.
Krillin style. As Pakaz quite happy with his team fight went, because I think he determined he is stronger than Lifestealer currently, and Raven starting to feel the anxiety about that.
Yeah, I don't think he quite has the damage to right-click through him yet.
No.
But he
We saw
will.
that.
It's a slow but eventual win for Morphlane. This does get scarier for the Lifestealer when the damage items come online for Morph, right? And right now, what's he got flying towards him? See anything too crazy here? Just the crystals. It's bang for your buck, and as you can see, it's quite fast here for the Morph. They have to pull, of course, from the patch average because not a lot of Morphlane. I think the first one of the tournament here.
This is the best bang for your buck, I would say.
Yeah, first time this major. There we go.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
New record.
New record. Pakaz, best morph in this major? I'd say so.
I'd say so. And the worst one, though.
Yeah, he really does.
And he's also just statistically average, so it's hard to say.
He's everything.
Yeah.
He encompasses Morphling itself. This joke ran its course. BKB on Jabs here. This might be a small turning point. Jabs kept getting caught in the arena, right?
Yep.
And that's actually like Mao's role, very similar to what Betboom was doing. Now with the BKB, he'll be able to just ignore this God of War.
Yeah, not only that, honestly, Panda has been doing a great job every fight at just wherever the DK is, he spits on him. Mago is going to BKB immediately as they turn now for the kill on Januel.
Oh.
Fear will collect him on the tree. Raven cuts it down, and there's the E-Blade from Armel as he's been farming up. Arena is up, but Jabs with his fresh BKB jumps in and deletes Dark Mago. Januel eventually drops as that's the Chain Frost bouncing around. There's going to be the Vessel applied to Matthew, but without the Solar Bind, that's not going to be enough damage for the kill. Sacred did use the Exo for this as Panda. And he's going to be forced back, and he's looking for some more damage onto Armel. stunned up, left high and dry. I believe that's going to be Thunder losing 2 for 1 then.
Yep.
But they still conserve the Aegis.
No, I think Raven actually went for the psychological play, right? Because he bricks the tree, and you're like, what does that do? It's not hoodwink.
No.
And then Mago thought, does he think I'm fucking hoodwink?
I don't
and he
know.
just went on him, like, I'm gonna kill this Lich. Who does he think he is, breaking my tree? And all of a sudden, they got baited into it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it was about either, because it's not like when you're stunned by a spear, you lose vision like a hoodwink, right?
No,
So,
none of it. I'm telling you, it's a psychological warfare. He knows Mago would get baited by that.
And I guess he did.
It was for his own vision, I would presume as well.
Yeah, right.
Just
in case Lich dies. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just in case he dies.
That's the real analysis. But you know, we like to
Modlingnya udah fat banget.
DD here
Sakit
for
banget
DJ.
modling.
As right now, Pakaz, nothing in the quick buy. He's sitting on a pretty decent amount of gold here with 2K. Raven's got the Satanic clearly set. That's that secondary dispel, and of course the lifesteal amped by Sanj, right? With Feast, it's a lot. It will help him the 1v1.
It will. Trying to regen a bit because Morphling might be like, you know, hit Scotty, run away, doesn't reapply it. All of a sudden you dispel the Scotty and you get like that extra second. Sometimes 1 or 2 hits of Satanic is all you need to really regain everything, right?
Oh,
absolutely
ini
right.
mid.
It'll come into play.
Total
When you got
mid.
Feast operating as well,
pantesan.
all on top of that, your Sanj, yes.
Toggle live zone.
It's going to be good.
Bentar ya, coba kita nonton dari ini deh. Dari webnya nggak masuk, jelek banget. Lama juga ya masuk.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Lah, yang ini masih di sini. Nonton delaynya jauh banget. Pulang lagi. Ber aja dah.
But guys, like this weirdo keep calling my name. Raven?
He's not too scared. It's going to be the Rage. Pakaz buyback here on the Viper. It's still before the Roche timing, but Abo, they seem eager to fight.
Bakal langsung ulti sih.
Mago is way too eager to fight.
Yeah, he is.
And they're eager to burst
banget
him,
coba itu
eager
KTL.
to show him his place. Pakaz, he leaves.
Gila nih meta
Sacred
kalau
with the blink
TL
as
ini.
well. Yeah, Pakaz is eager to leave for sure. Yeah, again, I was a bit surprised Thunder were so keen to defend the tier 1. They still have top, they're Radiant, right? So, of course, they want to be looking for this next Roche fight, not giving up too much control, but they still have this ward for 30 more seconds they can place, the one that's gotten on Mel currently. They have a top tier 1 as well, you know, that they can play around, so a bit of an unnecessary death. And one of the biggest differences on why it's so much easier to nuke through a mid lane Mars is mid lane Mars a bit more of a spellcaster than the kind of tank that an off lane Mars is. He's going to refresher here from Mago, right? He realizes it's all about the spears, getting that secondary stun, continuing to lock down these heroes, more so than, you know, tanking TB shots or tanking the gyrocopter flak cannons with my active bulwark, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's gonna be a rough survival though for him as a result, because yeah, you're right, double spear, double arena is gonna be a huge idea, but once you get Silver Edge, I feel like you kind of need to tank at some point.
Yeah.
Or they just burst through you, and this is what I was telling you. He's just a really prime objective. I think the idea of not going on the enemy tank is long dead in Dota as long as you have the right items to deal with him, you know? And
Yeah.
this is a good example of it.
And even then, right, it's not like he's the only traditional quote-unquote tank in the team, right? So Sacred is
DP's there too.
very, very difficult to kill. No Yule Scepter, mind you, right, but a BKB and now a Blink Dagger to help his positioning. Even Panda, like, he's a 5, like...
Tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under
He's a tanky 5, you're right. And he has Glimmer Cape and Force Staff.
Yep,
Hell, the
you know,
Morphling
so-
could be considered somewhat of a tank, you know? You
A
don't
risky
catch him with
strategy, but that could always pan out because I think too many times we've all played against Morphlings who have just simply.
Yeah, that's why I think the first target is Mars, because you get rid of the arena, and then that's it. And Dark Mago's always playing so front.
Yep.
This is something that Bepum also did, by the way. Sorry, I quote this team so much.
That's
It's
okay.
really
They're
good.
fun to watch.
Yeah, so they figured out that against DOTA, because teams will actually tank so much with the DOTA in the front lines, if you just kill her first with the Mars arena, you win. And it sounds simple, but it's a very good way of baiting how the enemy team plays.
Nope, from Thunder.
As Sacred will be the first one to lead. Dark Mago,
There he goes.
He goes for the crazy play, but he doesn't get it. Bakaz, however, does burst down DJ.
Yeah.
As Sacred. Okay, he's in the middle of this fireball. There's the arena finally coming out.
Like,
And there's no
yeah,
range on the
but
Lifestealer currently in the backlands. They also
They're onto
catch the
Armel.
battle. That's what they wanted the whole time. As Sacred and Dark Mago just annoy Raven. Raven realizing, oh no, they killed my mid laner. Jabs is down as well, and Raven has no rage. He's forced to go into a creep for that.
lagi.
That creep is made out of paper. Now he's stunned and feared and killed. Triple kill for Bakaz. And that's the execution you expect from Thunder.
Yeah, Pakaz just kind of, he's the widest guy on that smoke gang, so to speak, right? He swings around from basically here, it
The
seems.
widest, all right.
The widest, the most wide. Yes, that's correct. You know, like the wide walk, you know, the meme.
Sure,
And
yeah.
he cuts down DJ. Armel's in a very similar position. Again, doesn't get the BKB off. Wouldn't have really saved him. And everyone else is kind of distracted by Mago and Sacred, the two quote-unquote tanks we were talking about. You could see, right? He enters the fight from a perfect position. And the tanky cores, at least for FNATIC, are up front. There's Armel. They see him, and they kill him basically instantly.
Like, the only reason I think Bakaz even went close to them was actually to get the rage, right? Like, morph into Lifestealer and get his rage, right?
Yes.
And that's how he just killed Kato. BKB or not, there's nothing you can do against the Lifestealer Gold Frenzy plus the Scotty that Morphling had.
And this is a serious push, eh? That we're catching picture in picture. That's a tier 3 tower down.
I agree, eh?
They use whatever was left in that exo, and they get through the tier 3 and likely the melee barracks without buybacks. Roshan is going to be up in 15. They have Panda. He's just parked in the pit scouting. Finally, he's going to leave.
Look at these hosers. They could do nothing to stop
these hosers. They could do absolutely nothing.
Dark Mago now goes to the A on this, so that's going to give him the tank ability we were talking about, because he's starting to realize maybe my role is not so much of million arenas. He's not the Roman architect this game. He's just kind of the guy who who takes the punch.
Okay, this is a bit of a risky fight. This Elder Dragon form activated. Armel giving chase. They know for sure Roche is up. Mago is going to whiff the spear. Armel's first BKB of the game now. Yeah. Matthew and company eating a lot of damage from the Illuminate, but they will disengage as Armel's BKB wears off. And likely Thunder here looks for the re-engage.
I don't know all about that BKB as well. I mean, it was scary otherwise. They have the Infest Bomb. This is not the best use of Lifestealer these days.
Here goes.
As they go into the Roche pit, they try to steal the Aegis. Can they accomplish it? No. Bakaz takes it in the arena, gets Armel again. He had no BKB this time. Armel, he's feared. He's going to hit the wall. He's going to die. Jabs also falls, and this poor Lifestealer sent up in the air. He does have a rage, but no TP, so he can only deal with the supports right now. Sacred could be his target. The help from the Terrorize. Bakaz, though, has slowed him down thanks to the Scotty and Mago with his Revenge Spear. They even forced the X off Sacred. They all fighting Raven. Raven is strong, but is he strong enough? Bakaz will show him he's certainly not. Dark Mago finishing off the last unit here, which was the Lich, as Willow managed to make the sneaky escape away.
Yeah, big fight for Thunder. They get the Aegis. Armel pops his BKB. You were a bit inquisitive on the timing, and I think it ends up showing there. The arena completely wrecks him. Nowhere for that corralled horse to run off to. And Sacred.
This poor old man running into walls.
Couldn't find anything. And Thunder, there's no buyback. I don't think they know, but there's no buyback on a Raven. All the buybacks have been used. DJ's got it in 30 gold, so if he dies, he's likely to have it in but a few seconds. But Bakaz with the DD rune is making very quick work of the structures.
I don't know that's the exact right play, though, because if you don't get the throne in this time, I mean, you still have three heroes.
No, you have to remember, no ping. Back in the Annie Major, they went for barracks, they lost the game, but not here. They've learned this is why they have Bakaz. This is why Bakaz is Panda's favorite player, because he makes the calls.
He makes the calls to go for throne.
30 seconds.
10 seconds for the Cuddle to come back. They have to fight, they have to delay this. They go, and they kill Bakaz, but it's only his first life. Jab's already activated that BKB. The arena's still working here. Bakaz is back. However, Jabs is dead. The Willow bought back. What can they do? They have a terrorist. Bakaz gets the BKB. They're trying to kill the throne, but the frost shield's working. There goes the Lich. No more frost shielding for you.
10 seconds. 10 seconds and the lifestealer's back, but will the throw last that long?
They
It
don't
doesn't
have
look like it, Avo!
Finding
Thunder!
life.
They're doing it, the GG!
GG.
They've evened it up 1-1.
Fanatic gak ada apa-apa.
The
Sekarang
horse,
mainannya
all the
ngacet,
horses came
mainnya
that they
jelek
could
banget.
not conquer.
No, call Thunder Awakened Mongolian because they just ate these horses up, man. They destroyed FNATIC there towards the end after a shaky game 1. They showed up game number 2. FNATIC, still impressive performance and honestly a very good draft in this game number 2, but they were unable to make this game number 2 work. Thunder Awakened showing us why they became our favorites in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I think this all happens on just the better item timings. Ultimately, it's better item timings,
Mana nih,
more
gimana
abused,
nih?
more taken advantage of by Thunder than it was FNATIC.
Wah,
That
nih kecewa.
slight edge on the Scotty timing. The Manta style, right, from Pakaz, immediately, that's a game
Dong,
changer.
gua mau nonton
The game was
itu, kok
looking
nggak ada
really
sih
grim,
live-nya?
not quite repeat of game 1, but it was looking dark.
Yeah. That was more the exciting game we were
Udah
hoping for, right? I feel like FNATIC and Thunder Awakened should be proud of the
Nah, ada nih, duanya nih. English.